All right, today we are diving into a very specific, very focused mission. We're finding some of the best technical outerwear in one of the most packed cities on the planet. Think of this as your ultimate no-nonsense guide. Let's get right into the briefing.
So, here's your objective. You need to find and acquire a Gore Tex Pro jacket. We're talking top-tier brands, Acronym, Valence, or Arc'teryx Leaf. And your starting point? A very specific address, 308 Desvaux Road West in Saigon. So the real question is, in a city as massive as Hong Kong, where do you even begin to look?
You know, this really isn't just a simple shopping trip. It's more like a high-stakes quest for some of the most sought-after, most elusive gear out there. Finding these specific pieces in an actual store is the real challenge, and that's exactly what we're here to figure out.
Now, you'd think you could just, look this up online, but that's the core of the problem. The initial intelligence, all the data you can pull up, it's just a messy, tangled web of conflicting reports. One source says one thing, another says something totally different. A simple list just isn't going to cut it.
So first things first, let's actually review the intel. We're going to dig into these field reports we've gathered and see exactly where the stories just don't add up. Okay, check this out. Here's a perfect example of the problem. We're looking at Inc. Clothing, a key target over in Causeway Bay. One source estimates it's a 62-minute walk. Another says, no, it's an hour and 20 minutes. I mean, that's almost a 20-minute difference. When you're on foot, that's a big deal. This is exactly the kind of noise we need to filter out. And believe me, it gets way more complicated when we start looking at what's actually in stock. For Acronym at a store called HBX, one report lists the J47 GT jacket. Another one mentions archive pieces like the J69 GT. Then a third source is focused on the J1WTS-GT. So what's actually on the shelf right now? It's pretty clear that if you don't cross-reference, you could be heading out on a total wild goose chase.
And this, right here, this really gets to the heart of it. One of our own sources, an AI tool, straight up tells us that it can't confirm what the current inventory is from public data. It just proves why we have to do this deep dive. This mission is way harder than it looks on the surface.
So, with all this messy, confusing intel, it's time for us to step in and connect the dots. We're going to cross-reference every single report to establish the ground truth for our mission. Okay, so after sifting through all that noise, a few solid, confirmed facts start to emerge. First, Inc. Clothing and HBX are, without a doubt, the most reliable physical stores for Acronym. Second, for Valence, you're pretty much looking at the official Arc'teryx brand stores. And third, everything seems to be concentrated in two key districts, Causeway Bay and Central. This is our baseline, this is what we can trust. Now, for a really critical finding, the number of confirmed public walk-in retailers for Arc'teryx Leaf in Hong Kong, it's 0. A big fat 0. The sources are completely unanimous on this. Apparently, since early 2023, distribution is restricted strictly to military and law enforcement. So what does that mean for us? It means we can officially take Leaf right off our target list. Just a quick technical note here, because for this kind of gear, the details really matter. You're going to see this term Gore Tex Pro EPE pop up. All this means is it's a newer, more environmentally friendly membrane. It's made of expanded polyethylene. It's slowly replacing the older versions. Some of our intel notes that the Valence field jacket now uses this, so it's a key detail to look for if you're hunting for a specific generation of the fabric. And now, this is the moment we've been building towards. After we've synthesized all those conflicting reports and confirmed the actual facts, we can finally reveal the big payoff, the definitive synthesized list of targets. Here it is, our final, verified target list, all sorted by how close they are to our starting point in Saigon. At about a 25-minute walk, you've got HBX Landmark. That's your spot for Acronym models like the J47 GT. And right nearby is the Arc'teryx store at IFC, which is where you'll find the Valence field jacket. Go a bit further out, maybe an hour's walk, and you'll hit Causeway Bay. That's where INK Clothing is, and they are your most reliable bet for a really deep selection of Acronym shells, like the J1WTS GT. This table right here, this is your mission map. Okay, so we've covered the what and the where. Now let's talk about the how. This is your tactical route for hitting these key spots as efficiently as possible. From our starting point, here is your most efficient plan of attack. First, a 25-minute walk over to Central. You're going to hit both HBX Landmark and the Arc'teryx store at IFC Mall. I mean, they're practically next to each other. From there, it's just a short walk to another Arc'teryx location at Pacific Place in Admiralty. Finally, to hunt down that deep acronym stock, just hop on the MTR at Admiralty. It's a super quick 3-stop ride to Causeway Bay and hit Ink Clothing. This route covers all your bases in just a few hours. All right, one last crucial piece of advice. The world of high-end techwear moves incredibly fast. Drops sell out in an instant, and stock levels are always changing. So the single most important takeaway is this. Before you set out, always call your target first. Confirm they have what you're looking for. That real-time confirmation is the key to a successful mission. And that kind of brings us to our final thought. For gear that's this technical, this expensive, and this hard to find, you really have to wonder, is the difficulty of the hunt itself part of the appeal? Is the satisfaction not just in finally owning the jacket, but in the successful completion of the quest to get it? Definitely something to think about.